everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map. I have been asked a few times now by a few viewers and Instagram people to speak about crystal skulls. And this is a very interesting topic, right? There's so many theories and legends about the skulls. We have 13 skulls, kind of like a congregation of wisdom, a legend that there are 13 skulls that create like a crystal grid, and they keep certain vibration and resonate at certain frequency, which it's still very probable. Who knows? There is legends about elongated skulls or elongated skulls even at Stonehenge. There were some excavation made, not crystal skulls, but just elongated skulls. Um, there are alien skulls. There are a lot of different theories about the skulls. I did have explored some of them, but to be honest, I'm going to just show in this particular video how I go about crystal skulls. I'm a Sagittarius. I love, doing research and checking things. But in the end, when there is so much information out there and nothing is really provable, my first go is my imagination. And this is how I work with crystals in general, because to be honest with you, I don't think there is such a big difference between crystal skull and a big piece of stone. But as being humans, we recognize and we can connect much better, in my opinion, that's I'm talking about myself, to something which reminds us of something, right? And where we know that within our body there's consciousness. I believe that there's consciousness in the stones as well, like in everything in on earth. And in crystal skulls, I think there is a crystal being, like in every stone. And I think through using my imagination, I feel really in tune with connecting to those crystal beings. And now, this is a tricky thing to explain. And I think the best thing you can do is to practice your own imaginative thinking and creative thinking, and allowing yourself, first of all, to go wherever your imagination takes you. Otherwise, if you stop yourself, or if you limit yourself, or if you say to yourself, well, it's not true, it's only my imagination, I only imagine things, that's where I would like advise you to go. I want you to imagine things, imagine whatever, the most incredible stories you can think of, because that's how you start trusting your intuition, and that's how you become the high priestess of your own intuitive, imaginative reality. And you know what they say, if you can't imagine it, you can't create it. So imagination is the key to manifestation. Imagination is the key to intuition, and imagination for me is the key to working with crystal skulls. Some people claim that crystal skulls have consciousness, and that they like teachers, and I agree with that. It's probable that they have special consciousness, but to me, I think they just have like each stone has consciousness in it. And because clear quartz, especially, in certain amount of certain types of stones, are very transmittive, they can store information and they can resend it. And that's why I think crystal skulls, especially most of them, or some of them who are made with special intention, when the process of creating the skull is also used as imaginative, intuitive, like Ivo Manus' skulls. I think they perfect examples, because when you go to crystal fairs and stuff and you have this mass-produced crystal skulls, it's like I don't know if there's any more special consciousness in those crystal skulls than in a normal piece of crystal that you can also work with in the same way. But as I said, as our imagination goes, I think we prefer to connect to the image of a skull, which has a very symbolic meaning in itself already. Skull can point towards, a process of dying, but also a process of kind of continuation. Like you work with bones, like you can work with skulls, like a bone skull. This is my owl skull that I found at some point. Like, I mean, I found the owl and then I let it digest itself. The nature did its thing, and then after a few months I had the owl skull. um, so you can work with a bone skull and with a crystal skull. Skulls do carry this imaginative connection to the lineage of wherever they come from. So I think all the crystal skulls, they will have the a common consciousness of a stone, and then the separate stones, so depends on what stone your skull is made from, how it looks and so on and so forth, will also be an indication of the specific function that the skull can play, or can perform, or can teach you a special quality that you can embrace with that particular stone in cooperation. So my first crystal skull was this little guy, and I used to call him Mitch, but at some point he's changed his name to Chiron, and I use it very often in my Chiron readings. This is a very special skull to me because it was my first skull. I noticed something, that crystal skulls don't like to be by themselves. When I only have this one little skull, I really didn't feel much of an impact, or I didn't know exactly what to do with it. I actually love that legend of the 13 skulls. I would like to have 13 skulls. I think right now I might have 13 skulls to work with. And I have to say that they consciousness seems to like clusters, it seems to like other crystals, it seems to like other crystal skulls. It's feels a little bit like humans, that we like being in a group, and we have more power when we in a group most often. So I started my journey with Chiron, and what I do when I, first of all, how do you kind of even buy a crystal skull? Again, here I always go with my intuition. I see a lot of wonderful crystals and wonderful crystal skulls and stuff online, or at the crystal fairs. But not every stone, not every skull awakens my imagination. So I always go with my imagination. When I saw Chiron, I saw this little golden rutiles in him, and at that time my first thought when I saw him was golden speech. And because I'm really aware of how I want to communicate and blah blah blah, and this Chiron came to me because of that golden rutiles, where my imagination just went poof, straight in there, and I thought he's going to be a support, like resonate at the vibration, at the frequency that I would love to kind of bring in the quality of the golden speech. And I think then, when you have that kind of intuitive heat, or you see something in the skull or in the stone, you just know that they kind of speak to you, So I don't know how to explain it any better. Maybe I'm just sensitive to stones in this way, because I often get those intuitive heats, and then I imagine things. Then I imagine I'm having a conversation with Chiron about golden speech, about golden rutiles, about what comes to my mind. And at some point, he also, kind of expressed this. I felt this resonance with Chiron's story, with the wounded healer, especially after he got wounded here at the eye, because he fell down when I took him to Thailand. And I give them genders, but obviously they probably have no genders, but it's easier for me to have he, she. I just go really personally. I love to have like a personal connection to each of my skulls. So this was Chiron, my first skull, and then I found these amazing skulls by Ivo Manus. But I have to say, that I was always drawn to those ancient Mongolian skulls, because in Mongolia they used to also carve skulls from red jasper. When you put into Google Mongolian skulls, you will get something similar to those kind of teeth and the straight nose and the big eyeballs, and they mostly like white kind of skulls. So they kind of look like Caucasian, like wider skulls in the like to the side, not so elongated like this one. But then when I looked for purchasing one, I found Ivo Manus, and his skulls are amazing. So this is my moss skull. It's not from any particularly transmitting stone, because it's from soapstone, so it's very soft. It's very popular stone, and it's kind of like, you know, calcium. I don't know how to say it, but it's very soft. And but she fulfilled that wish of mine to connect to those kind of grandmother skulls, you know, because these Mongolian skulls were very kind of close to me. That were these ones, the one that these were the ones that I really felt pull towards, and this intuitive kind of those I like these calling me, you know. So when I found Moss, I purchased Moss. I gave her Moss name because it kind of came to me. I thought Moss is like the ancient being in the forest. It's everywhere on all trees. I have a feeling it communicates through this, you know, it always grows in big specks, in little pieces on the wood. So I thought it like it has connection to everything. And also like this grandmother's, she's my ancestral skull. So I thought she's perfect for ancestral readings, for work with ancestors. And whenever I do this type of work, I take her. So I treat her like my teacher, but also this is a cooperation. It's a two-way street. I also give her energy, and she returns her energy to me through my imagination. But what's most important is that I feel like it helps me. And that's what I want to just give you permission to go and have imaginary conversations with your stones, with your skulls. If you feel like this is bringing some positive changes in your life, that it's encouraging you to do something, that you have some, you know, empowerment through that, do it. Why not? Probability is that there is amazing consciousness in the skulls, and they are great teachers. Another probability is that they just like normal stones, you know, like this is not different from this, and this might be even, you know, a better transmitter because it's quartz, and this is only soapstone. But through this shape, through how Ivo works with skulls, how he creates skulls, how he's mostly either the only person who touches the stone and does it, and does it with like sacred intention, I think that makes a big difference. So this is Moss, my ancestral skull. Then I remember I got that big from Chris Crystals on IG. These crystals, I don't know how these skulls are made, if they're made with intention or not. I think they just made for sale. But I think also that you can sacrednize your skull, so you can put sacredness into it. You can especially when it's quartz, when it's receptive, you can really imbue your skulls with power, really. So it also depends on you. If you just expect a crystal skull to arrive at your house, put it down and expect some magic to happen, that usually doesn't happen. It can happen, but it usually doesn't. So there's the requirement is to work with your imagination, to work through meditation, to allow some time to get to know each other, to touch the skulls. I think the skulls and stones in general love being touched. They love being worked with. They love the energy exchange with a living energy that we are and that they are, but our frequencies are different. So we can learn and kind of embrace each other's. So this is harmony, and she really feels very peaceful and harmonious, but I also infusing that skull with that quality of harmony, and work with it whenever I feel harmonious, but also then when I feel like out of sorts and I need to bring some harmony into my system, then harmony. The more I work with her and imbue her with harmonious thoughts, harmonious touch, sound also, the more then I can also kind of benefit from her memory, and through resonance just have that space. Another skull that I have, it's this beautiful, I love this skull, it's my grandmother also, but I call her Alchemy, but I don't know, she might change the name because I want to, I think, something more personal. She's this really wise calcite skull, and I love how she's got this kind of split in half. She's not perfect, she's porous, but she's also this gentle kind of pinkish color. She is amazing, and just that to touch her is so satisfying. So my imagination just always went with, since I saw her first time, I was like, oh my god, this girl, she's mine. Like, I want to be her keeper, I want to work with her. And she also comes up very often for group work with me. I took her to tarot courses when I was doing them, to my groups. She was always kind of sitting around. She's very encouraging and very kind of soft, but also she's a calcite skull, so it's quite fiery, and she's got power, but power through softness, so I really love her. I also got from the Scully's website that pink Aragonite skull. Sorry for the lighting, it's just really bad, but yeah, that pink Aragonite skull. And I call her Ludmiła, and she is just very I love her teeth, which are kind of skew. Sorry, it's like really glary. Yeah, her teeth are really skew. I don't know if you can see properly here. And she brings in, I wanted her to have like a Gaia kind of type of skull, but she didn't really come with this feel. To me, she's more like, she's lovable, and she's really kind of to work on the heart chakra, bring in some quality of courage, but also the sense of goodness, of loving kindness, of being able to accept your imperfections through this teeth. So this kind of yeah, like Ludmiła, loving kind. The seer, my Aquamarine Skull, I love him. He's special. He's like an alien whistler. So he's part of all of my readings, sometimes together with Chiron when I do astrology readings. And I just called him seer because he's got this huge eyeball. So again, this is my imagination. That's what I'm allowing myself to go with. When I saw him, he could be a whistler. So I know that he's a seer. He's my kind of soul skull. He's a sharer of information. When I'm working with him or like holding him, I'm really open to the signs from within and from outside, to synchronicities, to looking out for for expressing that through the words, through art, through readings. And so seer is it's like a little bit like a chief of my skulls. There's also Mary Magdalene, which I showed this skull before. She's got this amazing rainbow teeth. So I love those elongated skulls. They, I think, my favorites. So well, yeah, she has the rainbow consciousness, and she's a bridge. And I think Mary Magdalene's energy also gives you courage, and it's a shapeshifter. And the colors in this labradorite, if you could see them live, they just gorgeous. So it's about shapeshifting to me. Labradorite in general is one of my favorite stones. And Mary Magdalene also, this sacred feminine wisdom and consciousness that comes with it. So, she might at some point maybe change, but who knows. This little guy I got, it's an Amethyst Skull. This I got for my birthday from a friend. I haven't worked much with it yet, but there's something cute about it. So see, sometimes, when I didn't work with a skull, I totally don't know where it takes me. So I'd have to sit with it. I don't just expect it to magically happen. Another skull I have is this tiny little tiger's eye skull. I called him Chief, and he is very powerful for such a little guy. Great solar plexus supporter. He was walking up with me up a lot of mountains, so I think this is my courage. This is when I need a kick in the ass, or when I need to awaken in myself this resonance with inner strength, inner go do it, get up and go kind of feeling. So he's very great attuned to this. Plus him and Chiron, they come from families, from people who work with crystal skulls, and I think that makes a difference too when you purchase a skull from like a crystal skull family. They also have empowered crystal grid behind them where the energy can be strengthened. So another thing you can also do, sometimes, I bought this crystal at some point. I had no idea why, but I really loved it. And it's got also a lot of like, how do you call it, the master kind of triangles, master crystal. It's a master crystal, but yeah, there's this little triangles, and it looks like it went through some form of radiation, because there is a lot of kind of like this surface, rainbow. But at some point when I started working with the skulls, what do I see? I see a crystal skull. So it stands like this, and there is like eyes, nose, mouth. So this is my like protector, So you can also see skulls in stones in different forms. Like, for example, I bought this little stone, but then I turned it around and I thought, oh my god, that looks like an owl kind of skull, eye and eye. And it's so cool. It's my owly skull. On the other hand, you have the eye. And so this guy, for example, is amazing. What's this stone? It's not rhodochrosite. What is it? Oh my god, I'm blanking out. I will link it, at the name. But he is my Australian connection, and that's my imagination. But also the stone comes from Australia. And this is also like a snake bit here. It looks aboriginal to me, so I'm taking him to Australia. He's coming with me. His name is like Warunga or something. It kind of, comes, goes. I'm not sure yet, but it was strange that I found this place in Sydney, which is a suburb, which I didn't know what it means, but it was kind of what was coming to me. So I'm going to go there, see if there's any synchronicities. I follow that. I love living that imaginary life of mine and bring it down to reality. So if you think I'm nuts, yes, I am. But it's fun. I love it. So yeah, this guy, as you can see, it's pretty amazing. And I think this is going to be a very wise teacher for me and my connection to Australia, where I lived for 10 years. And, I have a special, Australia has a special place in my heart. And my last scully is this Goma. Or actually, it's not last. I have one. This amazing Gabbro skull. But let's talk about Goma. So Goma is a turquoise skull. It's a happy guy. Turquoise is protective. This guy loves to travel. It's light. I had a hard time connecting to this one. It doesn't spark my imagination, but I keep working on it. I keep taking it. I keep sitting with it. I keep seeing when I have it, when I hold it, what thoughts come into my mind, what's happening around me. Sometimes you can grab a deck of cards, shuffle the cards, hold the skull or think of the skull, let the skull permeate, resonate with your deck, and ask, like, what do you want to teach me? What are you about? So if we do it now for the Goma, can I do it for you? And you have imaginary conversation. Temperance. So this is quite a temperate, a balanced, powerful Sagittarian, likes traveling. I told you. There's just something about it that he likes to go, he likes to travel. You can pull 3 cards and see, what. 4 of Pentacles, it seems quite grounded, maybe earthy, maybe it will keep me safe. Turquoise is protective. Lots of cultures used it. And that might be the lack of connection that I feel to it. Maybe I still need to work with it. Maybe I don't understand what it's trying to tell me. So you can, play with it. So grab a deck of cards, oracle cards, and you can also ask, Would you want to teach me? How can I serve you? How can you help me? How can we both do something? And my last skull is this Gabbro, Indigo Gabbro skull, and it's beautiful. It comes from crystals too on IG, and I love it. I bought it as a, like partner to Harmony. I don't have a name for it yet. I worked with it recently. It's really kind of quite powerful. I pulled cards from Deva's creation about it. I got Source and I got Pluto. So I know that it's, I bought it for winter solstice. It has this kind of type of transmuting dark matter and energy. And I also pulled the card from the Lavish Earth Oracle. And it says, nurture your mind with great thoughts, for you will never go any higher than you think. And that's what I mean. Give yourself permission to use imagination. This is our birthright. This is what God's put into us so we can raise to their heights, and use this imagination to play and support ourselves on the way and have fun. So when I think of Gabbro, the keywords is intention, creation, faith, opportunity, and goals. It says it's all about intent. Know that as you set your intent, you create your world. Gabbro supports you in your firm, direct intent, never being concerned about the past, always true knowing that your clear intent set forward day after day for each and every goal is building a wonderful, full of opportunities, the world you dream of and that dreams of you. What you are looking for is also looking for you. Your life seeks you. Gabbro reminds you to meet it halfway. So maybe I just call him Gabbro. I quite like that name. Maybe I call him Negro. Maybe I call him or she. Who knows? I don't even feel the kind of gender. It feels very kind of genderless. Reminds me of Darth Vader too. So, I'm just going to sit with it longer, pull some cards, which I already did, and just go with it. I also wanted to mention that you can get skulls in the stone, so this is my petrified wood, and there's also this amazing, like Athena-like, Artemis-like skull. So this is now my Artemis supporting stone. So that's what I do. That's what I do with crystal skulls. That's how I play with them. I hope it was helpful to you. I know there is not much of instruction as what to do with your skull, but my instructions are simple. Use your imagination, spend time with it, enjoy your imaginary conversations, look around for the signs, what's happening when you work with a certain skull at this time, and stay open to synchronicities and to the signs from your body, but also from the outside world, because everything is connected. So thank you for watching. I hope it's helpful. Saying bye, and I speak to you soon. Bye.